Our/school system broke. I'm this close to just giving up on school. Story 1. I get pretty good grades that I work hard on getting. I managed to get a 4.0 GPA at some point. But my teachers like to do this thing to where they give us random pop quizzes worth 50% of our grade, other material we never ever went over. It's so tiring. They make it impossible to keep good grades for long. This year, I had a few instances where I had to miss a lot of school, either because I was too sick or injured to attend class. My teachers still expected me to do schoolwork while I was supposed to be resting. For context, I had gotten strep throat plus the flu, shot in my calf, and a concussion all within a year. I tried to explain to them why I couldn't do my work, but they wouldn't listen and dropped my grade down significantly. Even after I returned to school and completed all my missing assignments, my grade hardly improved. They'll also fail you for being a few minutes late to class. I have to walk up 4 flights of stairs just to get to one class to the other, so sometimes I have to run just to make it on time. But one time, a teacher told me to stop running and I had to speedwalk to class instead. I couldn't make it into the classroom before the bell rang, but I was literally about to enter the door. My teacher didn't care and dropped my grade down because I was late, even though I really wasn't. I'm so sick of this shit. Why do teachers make our grades seem like the center of the universe but won't give us any grace when something inconvenient happens? Story 2. How do I undo the damage that school has done to me? I finished school 2 years ago and now I'm in college currently studying art. Don't worry, we don't have to pay for college in the UK. I never realized till years later that school is actually designed to make a population of obedient wage slaves. After learning this, I've wanted to undo the damage that school has done to me, such as getting rid of my curiosity to learn new things, got rid of my ability to think critically, asking why for example, and, not sure if this one is caused by the education system specifically, assuming I know all the answers. I have tried to gain a curiosity to learn new things, but every time I try, it just ends up failing. I almost have no interest to learn new things about the world, and I always have this assumption programmed into me that I already know how the world works and that there's no need to look into it. The only thing I've had a curiosity in learning about over the last few years is space, because of how mysterious it is and how we're only beginning to unravel the mysterious of it. Other than that, I really can't find any interest in learning about anything other than that. I keep thinking I know all the answers. For example, whenever I come across a new subject, I always think mathematically instead of thinking in open-ended ideas. Thinking in open-ended ideas is why I have an interest in space, as we barely have an understanding of it. But when it comes to things on planet Earth, I don't think like that. I always think like this: X thing happens which causes Y to happen and stuff like that. Not sure if that's just a natural part of growing up and getting older, but judging what people say about school, it makes me think that it's the cause of this thought process. I also lack the ability to think critically. I always think in terms of what, when, where, but I can never think of why. Or be able to think outside the box. In childhood, I never had this problem. I was always able to think outside the box, but now I have a limited thought pattern I'm never able to get out of. Heck, even as a kid, I even noticed myself that schools were similar to prisons on my own. But later in adult life, I thought that was just crazy and that I was just a dumb child at the time. I was surprised to realize that I was entirely right about schools later on in my life. Is there anything I can do to help undo the damage school has done to me? I'm really finding it hard to undo this, and I need help with it. Thanks. Or be able to think outside the box. In childhood, I never had this problem. I was always able to think outside the box, but now I have a limited thought pattern I'm never able to get out of. Heck, even as a kid, I even noticed myself that schools were similar to prisons on my own. But later in adult life, I thought that was just crazy and that I was just a dumb child at the time. I was surprised to realize that I was entirely right about schools later on in my life. Is there anything I can do to help undo the damage school has done to me? I'm really finding it hard to undo this, and I need help with it. Thanks. It's been more than a half year since school started. Discussion. I learned absolutely nothing, but I learned some things I'm interested in and not what school forces me to. Are you allowing yourself to learn, or are you shutting your mind off because you have a negative cognition of the school and what you're learning? You see, I always learn what I need. What I'm interested in. What makes me feel curious? And I remember what I learned about that topic. But school? I kinda learned English, but I feel like the internet helped me with English more than that Soviet school BS. Rest is seen no point in learning. They teach us in a shitty way, too. Online classes. Do I need to continue? I'm also good at IT lessons. Coincidentally, I'm learning programming too. It's my number one interest. Sorry for late response, I didn't get a notification. You know, learnt isn't a word, right? And while school may not currently interest you, the necessity of general education is so you can get to what does interest you. Thank you, but all school did when I tried to take it seriously is strip from me any free time and make me feel like an actual robot without personal interests or anything. As long as I pass without any issues, I don't care. It's not that school is hard for me or my grades are terrible, it's just that I'd rather pursue my hobby I'll use in future than this. If you knew what education system is like here, you'd probably agree too. The teachers constantly threaten you with bad grades if you didn't remember one single thing. They will just barking at you. It's almost like they think that we don't have any other subjects. The way they teach is so boring that the only way is to learn it yourself. They're absolutely not trying to interest the students in their subjects. Let alone the ridiculous wake times. I have really hard time waking up early long term. Even if it's not for school. Maybe I'm naturally a night owl? I don't know. But school wouldn't care.